our part 2 video, which will consist of setting up the front end with IPFS and showcasing the functionality of minting, buying, selling these NFTs in this Dragon Ball project. So as you can see here in front of me, we have this README file. We are in the front end section of the README file. And the first thing that shows up here is installing IPFS. So I'd recommend going to this link and installing the IPFS desktop version, which is likely to be the easiest thing to get started with. And in this way, then you'll be able to set up your local node to store the images of the NFTs onto it. Before we move on, just wanted to clarify what IPFS is. So IPFS is an interplanetary file system. It's basically a decentralized peer-to-peer network for storing and sharing data in a distributed file system. In the context of NFTs in our project, IPFS plays a crucial role in efficiently storing the NFT-related data, in particular the images that will be associated with each unique NFT. So once that is set up, you should be able to open up this IPFS desktop, which will look something like this. And the first thing that we just want to make sure is to kind of scroll down here to the configuration and make sure that you have localhost on port 3000 and 5001 under the access control allow origin field under HTTP headers and under API. Once you made sure that that is there, you're basically good to go for the rest. And then we can move on to actually setting up the front end. So here we'll go to the project directory of the front end, which is here. So we can just get out of the smart contract and go to the front end one. So here we're in director of front end, and we can just run yarn install. This will basically go ahead and install all the necessary packages from the front end side. And the remaining thing that we need to do is to populate the .m file, which is situated under the front end folder. Two things that we need to do here. We need to add the token ledger contract, which is the thing that we deployed in the last video. So we'll just paste it here. And then the ledger address, which will go into here. And pretty much the remaining can stay as is. So we can go ahead and going back to the README file. So after that is defined, we can just go yarn starts. And this will spin up the development server and we'll open it up in port 3000. So this should be more or less what you see in the landing page. In my case, I'm already connected with my MetaMask address. It may prompt you to connect with yours. So right now, not much showing up when you start. But now that we have our DBS tokens, we should be able to go ahead and mint. So to do that, we'll go to the our admin page where we can see the token balance. So the DBS tokens that were created in the last video, our Tara balance in this wallet. And then we can see the form for us to mint our Dragon Ball Supercard. So here we'll upload the image. So we'll start with that. Under the project repository, we have a folder called DBS NFTs. Here there's a bunch of images that you could already use, which are basically part of the Dragon Ball universe. Some really cool images here. One particular that I quite like is here, the one of Vegeta. So we'll use this one for this particular NFT. We'll just give him a name and a message and say that, you know, each of these NFTs will cost 100 tokens. We're going to also just list him for sale immediately. So as soon as we mint the NFT, it'll immediately go for sale. So we'll go ahead and click on the mint button. It should give you this pop-up on MetaMask, so you can click confirm. And here we go. We have a loading screen with Kamehameha. We're just waiting for the Taraxa testnets to confirm our transaction. And then we should have our NFT minted. And here we go. So now you should be able to see it if you go back to the landing page, where it'll show up the available NFTs that you have here. So what can we do now? We can see that the price is set for this particular NFT and is owned by this address that I'm currently connected to. So it'd be fun to be able to see if we could also buy it now but obviously it would have to be from another address. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select another address and connect to it. In this address we have some Tara, and we should be able to go ahead and buy. Oh, one thing that I forgot, we don't have any DBS tokens, so we wouldn't be able to mint this NFT because it actually costs 100 DBS tokens. So to allow for this transfer to go through, I'm just going to go back to my initial wallet and send some DBS tokens through to this other Dragon Ball wallets here. So we'll try to select not the Terra balance but DBS. So we're just going to send 1,000 tokens through, click next. Go ahead and send these tokens. So I'm now sending tokens from the deployer address to this other address to allow them to buy and sell NFTs. Obviously, this is just for the purposes of the tutorial to make things simpler. So now go ahead and come here. And actually, if I go back to get the contract address, which can be found in the M folder, I should go here and be able to import that token. And here we go, I've received those 1,000 tokens that I needed to buy, mint NFTs, and do whatever I want in this Dragon Ball universe. So now I have this buying option. I'm still connected to this 0x7EE address, and I can go ahead, click buy, which should trigger the approval of how much the spending cap that I can spend for these DBS tokens. So I'm just going to go with the maximum, click next, approve. So once that's then the approval for spending these DBS tokens is approved on the network, we can then go and buy the NFT. So now it's been approved, so I can just click again. And now it will trigger the actual purchase. So we'll just wait a second for the purchase to go through. And we'll refresh to see if it has gone through. So yeah, here we can see that there are no more DBS cards minted. So under this address, this guy does not hold any NFTs anymore. So now we can see that the new owner would have to basically list it for sale, which is the purchase that we just did. So we can now list them for sale, for example. And if we wanted, we could have another person buy it off us. So now that we have minted an NFT, we sold it to a new user, we'll just go ahead and mint another NFT. It has to be from the deployer. So we'll upload another image. Let's have a look at some options here. This one's pretty cool. Let's go with that one. Dragon Ball NFT 2. For the purposes of the demonstration, I'm just gonna do something very simple and list it for sale immediately as well. So here we go, we have the pop-up to mint. We're just gonna go ahead and mint. We are a cool spinner now again. And the purpose of this is just to see that you'll have all available NFTs, and you'll see that one is owned by one address and the other one is owned by another address. So at that point, we've minted NFTs, we purchased, we sold them, and basically this is kind of very bare bones, but it shows you a simple implementation where you could have like either an NFT, a game, or potentially a marketplace, but it does give you the kind of basic functionality to get things going. Just wanted to leave one last note here, is that in this particular example that we've gone through, the way we've minted NFTs is that we uploaded the image into IPFS upon minting. This is kind of similar to most projects out there. Most NFT projects have traits within their NFTs, and then they kind of randomize those traits upon minting. Obviously, this requires a bit more effort, but for simplicity, we're just gonna again upload the IPFS images. But you can basically do whatever you want for the project that you're trying to build. But yeah, either way, thank you for pulling through up to the end of the video. Hopefully this was useful to you to demonstrate the creation, compilation, and deployment of both the token and NFT example on Taraxa. We have minted, bought, sold NFTs in this tutorial. We gave you an example of a code base that you can pull and experiment through. So I highly recommend you kind of pull this code and try things for yourself and see what you can build. If you have any questions, please reach out on Taraxa's social channels and come and show us the cool things you built. Look forward to see you on the next video tutorials.